Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 7v7 custom match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the Southwest, ending with Team 2 in the Northeast. Definitely will not confuse them later on in the game. Starting off with Team 1, Southeasternmost player here on the front line, we have Ferdio going first lane as a UEF. He is a 2,000 rated player, tied for the highest ranked player on his team and tied for the highest ranked player overall. He is in Batman Gray. To his northwest, we have in Stitch Blue, the UEF player of Schmuck Penny going first lane. He is a 1,300. To his northwest, we have Zeros going first lane as a UEF as well here for Team 1. He is a 2,000 rated player, the player who Frodio is tied with for the highest on his team. And again, they are tied overall and with other players on Team 2. And again, he is in glow-in-the-dark green as a UEF. To his northwest, we have Sassine going first line as another UEF here for Team 1. He is a 1,700 in lightish red-pink. Starting in the back line here for Team 1, we have Moyi going first line as an Aeon. He is an 1,800 in regal purple. In Chevy Crimson to his southeast, another Aeon here for Team 1. He is Knightly, and he is again, a 1,700. And last but not least, for Team 1 in Amethyst Purple, we have the Seraphim commander of Captain Bliss going first land. He is a 1,600. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 4 UEF guarding the front line with 2 Aeons behind them and a Seraphim in the rear, which means Team 1 lacks Cybran technology. Starting off with Team 2's Northwestern lineup here, we have on the front line, Love Me Some Rice going first land as a Cybran. He is a 1,600 in Rust. To his southeast in Ruby Red, we have the Aeon player of Dreamer Lazy going first land. He is an 2,000 rated player, tied for the highest rated player on his team and tied for highest rated overall. To his southeast, we have the Seraphim commander of Zebradon going first land. He is a Seraphim, and he is a 1,900 in light oak tan. And riding out the front line here for Team 2, we have in Imperial Gray, I Make War on You going first line as a Cybran. And he is the player with which, I'm trying to find his name, Dreamer Lazy is tied with the highest rated player on his team. And again, we have Dreamer Lazy, I Make War on You, Azeros, and Furio at 2,000 rated. To his north, we have in Pac-Man Yellow Smithers going first line as a UEF. He is a 1,600. To his northwest, we have in Tropical Ocean Blue, Thurnis Haley going first line as a Cybran. He is an 1,800. And rounding out Team 2's lineup in the southeastern corner of the map, it is Hayden going first land. He is a Cybran in orange, the color orange. So for Team 2's side of the map, they have 4 Cybrans, 1 UEF, 1 Seraphim, and 1 Aeon, which means Team 2 has every faction represented. And as I remember, Team 1 lacks Cybran technology. The average rating in this game is a little bit over 1,700, illustrated by both of the teams with 4 2,000 rated players, as I made mention. So tons of pros in this game. Let's take a look at the reclaim that these pros and a couple of Joes have to scoop up. They have only 8,000 mass in reclaim to scoop up between 14 players. That is not a lot of mass. It's about a little over 500 mass per player, if I can do my math really quickly. Yeah, that sounds about right. A little bit over 500. And most of it is in the middle of the map, especially on these upper plateaus up here. And in terms of mass point layouts here for these teams, Team 1 side of the map has 1, 2, 3, I'll call this one 4 Trimex positions with a bunch of Mexes over here in the northwest. Definitely going to be fought over heavily by at least 1 or 2 players on each team. A line of Mexes in the middle, definitely going to be a point of contention. And kind of a similar thing, but not as compacted here. We have a line of Mexes and a line of Mexes in the middle. So definitely, again, going to be not as heated as the northwest and middle west. But we do see in the southeast not really any middle Mexes to fight over for our players. So with that out of the way, we have, again, 14 players to watch. Let's see where they start to move around the map. Everybody on Team 1 has left their main bases and has moved to the northeast, at least in that general direction. Team 2, everybody except for 2. Nope, we have more players on Team 2. So it looks like only 3 of them have left the main bases, and there are plans to, I'm assuming, move after that. If Team 1 is sending every single comm to the front line, Team 2 needs to respond with essentially every single comm to the front line. We do see 2 players going for the exact same set of mechs, Schmuckbenny and Furio going for this Trim Expedition. Furio also sending some units to secure the southeastern section of Mass as well, trying to again expand his eco very, very quickly. We have a distance build coming on the cards here for Dream Laser to this upper plateau. And besides these 2 plateaus, essentially the game is just flat. There is a tiny upper plateau over here, but that's of no consequence. Maybe we'll see a radar system up there. That's probably the only thing I would stick up there, just to have up there, but that's about it. And there are 2 upper plateaus in the middle of the, not the middle, the back line of these players' bases. But again, a couple of mass wrecks to scoop up, but not really worth it to put anything else up there. Maybe, I mean, you could put artillery up there. Would it be the best idea? Probably not. But would it be harder to get to? Also would be the case. And in the middle of the map, looks like there's a tiny bit of a hill, but it essentially is just flat this entire game. Not going to be affected essentially by any sort of terrain manipulation with any PD or any sort of things. Of course, you have the Cerberus and the Utashala that have to be a direct line with the Triad, who can fire a little bit over. Same with the Oblivion. I think not as much of a degree as arc that they have, but the Triad most definitely benefits from having a little bit of arc to hide behind a little bit of a hill or something to hide behind. We do see a couple of units getting into some discourse here in the southeastern corner between I Make War on You and Frodio's forces. We do see Frodio just going to charge the front line against I Make War on You in the east. In the northwest, we haven't seen any comm-on-comm action here, but a lot of units running on the map here for both of these northwestern players. We are seeing some movements outbound from Mui coming in to maybe secure the approach this way and maybe come in and assist his teammate, or maybe just come in and kind of fanning out the front line to assault this position. Looks like it's going to be 2v2 in the Midwest, 1v1 in the Northwest. And it looks like it's going to be kind of an... I don't know what's necessarily going to happen. It looks like maybe Frodio is going to force back I Make War on You's comm, essentially going to isolate him in the southeastern corner of the map. Either he does that, retreats, or he stays there. Probably should retreat if that is going to be the case. And that's his goal, is to essentially cut him off from everybody else and then just surround him and kill him off. Which, if that works, great. If not, I mean, there's only so much you can do. We do see gun damage range has been started for Schmuckbenny in the middle. Left drone has been started for Ozeros. I don't see any upgrades on anybody else so far. It looks like Lummi Sunrise is forcing back Sassine's forces, at least temporarily, in that northwest. Again, lots of expansion going on here for both teams. They want as many of the mechs as they can. They want as many upgrades as they can get as fast as possible, because the more upgrades, the more mass, the more you can put out, and the more, of course, you can fight back. Gun speed and range has been started for Zebranog, and Smithers going for T2. Love that combination. One going for defense, one going for offense, so that a player can try to force back the other team, and a player can hold the position and have something for that other player to fall back to. But it looks like it's going to be 2v2 here. Both of these players in the north for Team 2 not going to engage. Actually, no, it's going to be a 3v1, excuse me, against I Make War on You. Frodio essentially cutting off cutting off I Make War on You's trajectory, with Nightly coming in to assist. And these comms actually splitting up, one going north, one going south. It still looks like Team 1's forces trying to keep Team 2's I Make War on You back, making sure that he does not escape. More units coming into the play, and Frodio coming back south to again intercept that comm. It's 2v1. There are some Mantas coming into support, but there's not really a whole lot of firepower here, especially with Nightly and Frodio focusing on the units first and then the comm. Again, it's 2v1, and that's only going to go one way. As long as these comms stay in range of one another, Team 1 will win that fight handedly, very easily actually. But it looks like Team 1's going to elect to just have I Make War on You retreat for a little bit, giving Team 1 a little bit more breathing room in that southeastern corner. Gun, please, says Azuro's, talking to Moi, talking about, hey, going after that gun has been started here for Moi as well, trying to again assist with that front line. Azuro's going for his own gun. Again, has the drone on the line. We do see Schmuckbenny going after Zebranog's comm, and Zebranog is rooted to spawn an upgrade. It's going to finish here pretty shortly, and then he will have the range advantage The upgrade does finish off. It will force back Schmuck Benny most handedly, and then Team 2 Smithers is going to finish that T2. You're going to be able to establish a nice front line position here for him and Zebranog at the minimum. It looks like Team 2's comms kind of hanging out. We do see Thurnis Haley assisting Dreamer Lazy with an upgrade, most likely the speed upgrade, after he has gotten the range upgrade. And no? He was building something. Weird. Anyway. No, yeah, Muyesa's gun speed has been started. Nano started here for Assassin in the northwest. He is in the yellow, facing down Love Me Some Rice gun comm. Again, it's gun v gun. And once that upgrade for Nano finishes off, Assassin will be in a better way. Again, UEF don't benefit the most from the Nano. Of course, the Seraphim are the best, and then the Cybrins after that. But again, going from 10 hit points, I think it's 50 base, is definitely better than sticking at 10. And that gun speed upgrade almost finishes off, and Dreamer Lazy almost finishes off his as well. We do see Azuros kind of drifting eastward, coming in from a different approach vector, maybe allowing Mori to come in just with himself and his forces. But it looks like Azuros charges forward, going after Dreamer Lazy, and then will be falling back. Again, it's the same range for both of these commanders. The Aeon 1 of Dreamer Lazy does not have the advanced range. Assassin does finish the Nano. It does go up to 50, so it's 40 more regen a second, but again, that's better than nothing. He's still being forced back, and this is a lot of momentum going in Team 2's direction in that northwestern corner of the map. Team 2, on the other hand, being forced back in that southeastern corner of the map. Obviously, that's mainly driven by Furio essentially walking IMEC down. Gun range has been started for Nightly to assist in that push, and Schmuck Benny forcing his way forward as well. There's a lot of action going on. I'm going to start splitting stuff up so we can see what is going on. Again, 7v7, there's lots of action back and forth. Love Me Some Rice has been surrounded by those forces from Team 1's player of Assassin. Assassin dropped heavily into the red, needs to get out of range immediately. He will be able to do so just barely. We do see Schmuck Benny going after Smithers Commander. Schmuck Benny needs to get out of T2 PD range, or he will die here. He does drop into the red. It looks like it's going to be the first kill of the game here for Team 2 against Schmuck Benny. He's dropping 1,300 hit points and falling, trying to get out of range of both of these commanders. He's going to stick through it. Pings do go down, targeting that comm, most likely from Team 2. And this will be the first departure of the game unless somebody else beats him to the punch. And there he goes. Team 1 loses the first player of the game at 10 minutes. There's now a 6v7 in favor of Team 2. It looks like everything else has essentially calmed down except for the east, which we see IMEC still being forced back by Furio's commander. Wants to take that assault personally, says Furio most likely, just kind of saying, hey, I'm just going to shove it in front of your face and see how far you get pushed back. Gun damage range has been started for Smithers. Nano has been started for Zebranog. Going to be able to assist in, again, securing that position and just surviving. Furio going after the units, not the comm. And of course trying to take out all of the units to get probably some more veterancy. He's almost close to 2 stars, so that's probably what he's going for. He does come in with his own forces as well. It's kind of hard to tell because it's gray on gray action. IMEC has dropped again 3,700 hit points versus Furio at 5,000, actually, excuse me, 7,600. Gets that rank and veterancy that he needs. And is going to now blitz the calm down of IMEC. Wants to make sure he survives that calm explosion. 2 parashields online here from Smithers to assist in defense. That will be enough. One of those parashields gets killed off by the overcharge. And it looks like IMEC will not make any attempts to assault the southeastern position anymore. And that is his main base, to be fair. So he really desperately does not want to lose that. Shield coming online here for Dreamer Lazy as well. Doesn't have advanced range yet, but does have the but they were speed and range. Stealth has been started for Love Me Some Rice, going for the Nano. So seeing back up to 7,000 hit points. Does get a ranking veteran now at 8,300 hit points, excuse me. Facing off against, again, 12,000 from the Sovereign Commander of Love Me Some Rice. Nano almost done here for Zebranog. And it looks like a lot of the forces from Team 1 kind of have just petered out, at least in the middle. That's partially due to the fact that Team 1 has lost a player, but now it has given Nightly dual bases, so he's going to be able to pump out a lot of T2 units very, very quickly. Might be able to make a play either against Smithers or IMEC. It looks like it might be a concerted effort to just go straight for Smithers. Smithers having to retreat now. Again, he's in the yellow. Kind of a dangerous position to be in. If Furio does come to assist, it will be a kill. Nightly has the speed and range upgrade. No shield or no advanced range, but again, something's better than nothing. Blazes versus Yenzine here from Team 1 and Team 2. And having some Asylums, or I mean, I usually call them Parashields just because that's the name of the UEF unit. And mostly everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say Parashields for any other unit. Other than, obviously, the one for the UEF. But Zebranog, coming in with the assistance from Smithers, will force back Knightley here. He had a great thing going. He just didn't continue it. It's partly due to the PD nearby, and it's partly due to the fact he just didn't want to be isolated. If Ferdio did come to assist, that probably would have been a kill. Looks like Ferdio's going to go for some Sparkies, it looks like. Yeah, that's a Sparky. We'll see if he goes for any sort of a transport play. T3 Air has been finished off for Team 1. Team 2 also has T3 Air in 2 players' coffers. We do see Team 1 only has 1, so that could be the difference early on about who wins the game, having more air than the other player. We do see in the Northwest, Sassine still going after Love Me Some Rice. He has the Stealth and Gun versus the Nano and Gun from Team 1 Sassine. That will only really go one way. Sassine not focusing the comp definitely will not help that situation, that's for sure. It's 9,000 hit points versus 7,000. If one player dies, the other one will die along with them. And neither player wants that, I would assume. Moi in the middle is in the yellow. Is coming to back up Azuros once again, going for advanced range. And Azuros trying to force back the Aeon commander of Dream Lazy with the shield on board. Azuros has Nano, Gun, and left or right drone, one of the drones. I think he has both of them. I think he has one. I think the left drone is the other one. We do see the comm of Imek Warren coming in to assist, going after Azuros' commander, and control case and kills off Imek Warren's commander. Ooh, that was spicy. Ooh, that was spicy. Team 1 and Team 2 both lose a player, but that was a great move. Azuros would have died anyways and decided to take Imek Warren down with him. Imek Warren looks like he left because his base has essentially been ran through on the eastern side of the map. Azuros, maybe next time, says Hayden. Maybe next time. That, you should respond to be... I don't know what that's response to, but anyway... It's now a 6v5 in favor of Team 2. That was I mean, again, he was going to die anyway, so you might as well take somebody else out with them. But in the Northwest, Team 1 loses another player in the form of Sassine being walked down by Love Me Some Rice. It went from a 7v6 to a 6v4 very quickly here. Before 15 minutes on the clock. 2 comms on Team 1 going for advanced range, being Knightley and Moi. And that only leaves one player on Team 1 as the one of the only UEF players on Team 1, that being Furio in the east. Everybody else on the front line that was UEF is now dead. So if you love the UEF, they're not doing good this game. They're not. The averages are not great. In the Northwest, we see Love Me Some Rice going for now. Definitely the smart play, getting hit points back up. And, of course, he has a lot of territory he can secure. But he feels very safe doing it. Definitely would agree with him doing it there. Maybe he could walk back just a tiny smidgen behind that T1 PD. But again, he should be fine, honestly, unless some random strap bomber comes out of the way and kills him. But, I mean, when have we seen that happen kind of thing? I mean, it does happen, but not as often as it used to a long time ago. Advanced range has been started for Dreamy Lazy in the middle. So every Aeon now in the game going for advanced range. Wanted to make the use out of their commander, at least the most of it as possible. Captain Bliss over here to the southwest has pushed forward a little bit. He does have that T3 air facility online and is starting to pump that up. Again, a lot of the players on Team 1 are, dual bases on the front line. No one has given over a secondary base to the air grid player. I feel like that might be the better way to do it. I mean, this base alone, just this set of mexes would be enough to really supercharge this base here for Captain Bliss, and especially being 4v6. The APM, of course, will always favor Team 2, especially as Subcombrame does start to set in. So giving some additional bases over to the air player would be enough to maybe push back Team 2 in some degree, at least maybe on the north side, if not on the eastern side. We do see a decent army here for Furio going after Smithers. Smithers is standing still. Definitely not what you want to do with the missiles that are coming into range. Oh, he does move, so he does notice that. That's good to do that, because he would have taken a lot of shots, and that would not have felt good. No one likes to take shots, regardless if they're missiles or needles. I hate needles. I can't stand them. Just nope. I can like watch TV shows with needles, but anytime I go in for like a flu shot or anything, nope, just nope. Anyway, we see Knightley with the shield online and advanced range. He might start pushing against Zebranog in the middle, but it's a decent firebase online. Has a T3 mobile shield with him as well as a couple of PD and SMDs. So no missiles are getting through that base anytime soon. But missiles in the east doing very great work going after the rest of the PD here for Team 2. And Furio just going to send his commander forward. Will he go after Smithers' commander? I mean, he might. There's a couple PD nearby, but it's not a lot. It looks like Furio's trying to dance the PD. The Utashala will not miss, but the Triad can miss because there's a delay of when the shot is fired and when it will actually land. The laser on board the Utashala doesn't miss unless it's changing targets, so that is definitely the benefit here for the Seraphim faction. And the Sirens, they have that ability with their Tickle Cannons, but the Tickle Cannons, so not really great. Lots of sniper bots online here for Knightley trying to, again, attack his opponent at range, especially when there is some Harbingers to the west here, just taking out forces and units, and all the infrastructure here for Team 1 definitely needs to deal with that. Team 2 has gained a significant portion of the map so far. They control the middle of the map in the northwest and the midwest. This is starting to bulge out for Team 2, but it is being pushed back by Team 1 ever so slightly. And in the east, Team 2 is losing the ground over here. So essentially the only place that Team 1 is winning is the southeast with the departure of I Make More on You. And Furio just constantly keeping the pressure on. Where are those Sparkies? Has he used those for some reason or some area of the map? I don't see them currently. Though, I mean, he was building them at some point. Maybe he sent them away to go do something else. I don't know, but definitely did see them. We see some bombers over top here for Team 1 being shot down by Team 2, or some Notha fighter bombers either going after the commander or something else. A TMD being built here, and Smithers freaking out. He needs to build it as quickly as he can. I love when the model just freaks out like that. It's very fun to watch. ASF flying over the skies here, trying to protect those bombers here for Team 1. I don't see a lot of ASF production here for Team 2. I don't know if they're going for ASF or bombers or something, but they're not focusing on fighter production. There's a small group. Oh, okay, this is where forces are right here. Will they engage or not? There's not a lot of AA online, so both teams could engage without really any fear of losses. But in the middle, we see two pushes outbound from Team 1. One with a lot of sniper bots and one with just a lot of Titans running around here. Of course, not going to be as effective against a comm with gun or Harbingers, but at least something is better than nothing. And again, large sections of units online here for we in the west. And ASF do fight over Furio's commander. There is some flack that these ASF are fighting over for Team 2. So it definitely will favor Team 1 in the slightest, but looks like the ASF's count do favor Team 2 ever so slightly. And Team 2 loses Smithers. How did he die? He died by Captain Bliss, which means that it was probably not the fighter bomber related. And it looks like that was probably the case. So now it's a 5v4 in favor of Team 2 before 20 minutes. So out of 14 players, we've lost 5 of them, which is almost half before 20 minutes. That is a ton of players to lose. But of course, that is dual or even triple bases for some players. And Team 1 is losing the mass game by over 100 mass per second. Team 2 almost at 150 mass more than Team 1. At almost 950, 960. Team 1, I'd say 800 just to make the math easier. And Team 1, again, has 4 players left. Team 2 at 5 players left. And in terms of map control, Team 2 still in the lead, but is being forced back a little bit in the northwest. If Love Me Some Rice is not careful, he could die here. There are a lot of units here. They can really blitz him down. There's some Titans as well, but they're being killed off by those rocket bots of the hoplites. Really just throwing everything they have at their opponents. But let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. And of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And of course, I love this game, which is why I love to cast it every single day until the servers are shut off or I collapse of exhaustion. I'm not stretching myself out that much, but there definitely are days where I'm just gung-ho for doing recordings, and there are definitely some days where I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure I do one, and I'm not as gung-ho. It's just, you know, weather and work and all that stuff doesn't help the situation, but I still enjoy it nonetheless. which is why I continue to do it. And I enjoy reading comments and replying to them and all of that. So thank you so much for those that do comment and subscribe and like and all that stuff. I really, really do appreciate it. So thank you so very much. Titans v Titans. So it just comes down to numbers here for both teams. Team 2 does not have the numbers, and all those units will probably die. Unfortunately for Team 2's now owner of Zebranog, he has control of the eastern side of the front line. And we do see, of course, Team 2's Dreamer and Love Me Surmise has the western side. And it's kind of essentially split and mirrored on the other side of the map here for Team 1. But realistically, 3 players on Team 1 focused on land, 1 player focused on air, 3 players on Team 2 focused on land, but 2 players focused on air. Of course, that's only going to shift in Team 2's direction for air. Chicken has been spotted by Team 1, and it has almost been built here by Zebra Nog. There is a monkey being built in the north here by Thurnis Haley. Colossus started here for Dreamer Lazy, and I think that's it for experimentals. Does Team 1 have some sort of counterattack to that or countermeasure for that? Colossus almost not even close to being finished for Nightly. Nothing coming online here for the player of Captain Bliss. Colossus started over here for Moi. And that's... oh, no, he does have a Colossus down here, so I might shift at least some of the attention from Team 2 to this western side once that Colossus makes an appearance. Region Aura has been started and will be completed. Zebra not going to try to charge forward with that tanky commander of the Seraphim variety. Artillery trying to soften up this position here for Team 2, allow that chicken to engage. Furio might have to send his forces west to assist, as well as Nightly sending everything he has forward. That chicken is going to rip through one front line. Just needs to bait him on which one. Looks like it's going after Furio, which might be the better play because this is where Team 2 is a little bit weaker. This will allow them to have a lot of time to build back up. And if they go for the middle, that can also work, but the chicken's not going to get all the way through. So it's going to do damage, but is it going to do that much damage? Probably not. Percy's and Sniper Bots and Harbingers moving in to intercept the chicken. Titans sent forward to just attack the front line. Furio does see the writing on the wall. He starts to retreat. He does have gun and nano and is at 4-star veterancy, so does have a little bit of hit points to play with, but shouldn't stay on the front lines for too long. It does force this chicken to move northeast now to intercept the Titans, giving a lot of time for Nightly to come in to reinforce this position and maybe even just charge forward. At this point, send everything he has forward, going after Zebranog, who's going for upgrades. He does finish the advanced region, but not the nano, which he desperately needs to go for first. The Colossus in the northwest pushing back. Love Me Surmise. All of that momentum just killed off for Team 2 in that northwestern corner, where there isn't a counterattack outbound here for Dreamer Lazy against Moi. But Moi, I mean, this is the main attack vector here. Lots of mechs are going to go down. I mean, there's a couple of bricks, but that's not going to do a lot of damage. These do get pinged. These forces down here, they have 2 choices: either go north and west or just full send it, as what's happening right now, because why not? There is a nice, a lot of things going on here for Team 2, so that definitely does provide a nice vector for attack. And these are Titans, so they move very quickly, so they'll be able to take advantage of the slowness of Team 2's response. GC half finished, says Captain Bliss. It is at in the yellow, close to the green. Looks like the chicken has come back after intercepting those Titans, and Furio's base is going to go down, but it has been reinforced by Nightly's forces. There's a lot of UEF forces here, lots of Percy's as well. Going to blitz down that chicken very, very quickly. The chicken needs to target those Percy's immediately. That's what's going to do the damage to the chicken. The chicken is going to drop into the red. Lightning Tank's going to be able to at least attack ground units. Not going to do a lot of damage, but something. Chicken trying to dance. Probably should have just sent that forward, and it's not going to matter. Furio and Nightly defend the eastern side. We do see Zebranog just holding position. Doesn't have shields online, but looks like he's, again, funneling some power into something that's getting more pigeons online as well. In the northwest, that Colossus is still charging forward. Gets stopped a little bit by a Monkey Lord, but he does have some Percy's and Titans to assist. That Monkey Lord will die here, and these gunships getting lots of value out of them going after said Colossus. The A said from Team 1 do not want to engage. I don't blame them. They're not going to win that fight, even if they do engage. They might save the Colossus, they might not, but they don't want to take that risk of losing air entirely. And we do see a couple of Percy's going after Harbingers. Won't kill off Dreamer Lazy's comm, but again, at least do some damage to reinforcing units. Lots of T3 pigeons going down, and Mexes as well. Team 2 is going to lose their T3 Cybran land headquarters. Go after the PGen. That'd be the last devastating thing against Love Me Some Rice. He still has some Mechs online here in the east, but he's essentially is neutered at the current moment at 100 mass per second, which again isn't a total neutering, but a lot of what he had is gone. ASF's engaged between both of the airplanes, at least the main ones, and Team 2 will retain air control for the time being. Another attack outbound here from Dream Lazy trying to distract Team 1's Mui, but there's another Colossus online. It does not care. It looks like it's just going to full send it into Team 2's front line. Speaking of front lines, Colossus that was being built here for Nightly going after Zebranong. He drops into the yellow. Needs to be very careful. Zebranong needs to get out of there immediately. Drops below them, and there he goes. Should have built that nano repair. Would have had tons more hit points on board, but that is a kill hit for Team 1. 26 minutes. It's now a tied game at 4v4. And lots of action going down here in this game. I do expect that, of course, there are a lot of pros. Couple of Joes, but mainly pros in this game. And again, when you have 4 players at 2,000 rating, things do occur. Both teams have one of those players remaining, that being Drew Malaysia on Team 2 and Frudio on Team 1. Colossus v. Colossus will only go Team 2's direction. Looks like the Colossus from Team 1 focusing the Team 3 land headquarters. Oh, nope, not going to go for it. Nope, not going to go for it, it looks like. Probably could have gone for it. Doesn't want to dump mass on Team 2's doorstep. Don't blame him for that. Decides to retreat. Definitely is the better option. Bobby wants to draw the Colossus forward. It doesn't take the bait. And Team 1's Colossus will fight another day, or at least in a couple of minutes at least. And Titans and Perseus and other supporting units pushing that front line here for Team 1, trying to make a little bit more breathing room. There's lots of nexus that can be claimed by both of the teams in the middle and the northwest. And of course, our players need to grab those mexes immediately. Looks like Team 1's already on the case in the northwest and the middle, at least to some degree. But in terms of mass generation, both teams at 1.2k mass. So it's not really any sort of advantage one way or the other. But there's, in terms of mechs counts that can be claimed, Team 1 has a higher percentage of them than Team 2 does, which means Team 1 has more T3 mexes than Team 2 does. Which either means they're going for upgrades a little bit later, or they're building RAS comps, because why not? Crab has been started for Thurnis Haley, trying to scale his eco. He's not the highest eco producing player, just because Dreamer Lazy does have 2 bases online, so that he definitely obviously skews the values a little bit. But Thurnis Haley is doing a decent job of being a nice assisting air player here for Team 2, going after those gunships, being able to strike at targets very strategically and not just building a bunch of ASF, which also helped the game as well, but he wants to be able to respond to what Team 1 is doing and not just build ASFs, because you can win air and still lose the ground game. That is still a thing that can happen, but it looks like Thurnis Haley now going to go after that Colossus that got away earlier ago. Unfortunately, it will be on Team 1's side of the map, so not a huge loss for Team 1. And all Team 1 has to do is just get a couple of AA nearby, and that might be it. The Whalers now going to kill off that first Colossus. Will they go after the second one, or will they just kill off the rest of those units? Looks like they're targeting all the Perseus and the Sniper bots first. It's definitely the way to go. Take out the high damaging units first. A couple of Skyboxes coming in to assist. Will force back those Whalers, and ASFs coming to guard said gunships. 1, 2, 3 Colossi starting to group here in the middle of the map for Team 1. We could see a huge expansionary effort of experimentals quite quickly here in this game, especially with Crabs coming online, and Crabs coming all day. And the air player just again fanning out the air grid. I haven't seen any nukes yet or any efforts to go for artillery. SMD is online. Wants to protect his investment. Mass FAF farms. The way of one shield with a bunch of T2 mexes. T2 mass extractors. That's what I want. Is say definitely a way to go if you just want to spam out some, one mass plus, 1 mass increases. It's less it's still explosive, but it's not as volatile as the T3 variety, especially because you have to assist them with PGens to really make them viable. And it's just a big giant glowing target of like, hey, go after this, and there's a giant cascade that can happen, kind of thing. We have 2 Colossi going to face off 3 Colossi. Oh no, where'd they all go? Where did they all go? There's, of course, the wreck right here. Engineers coming in to scoop up said wreck. 1 for Nightly over here. Large group of Team 1 forces over here in the east for Frudio. Looks like every comm beside... No, I mean, he's in his main base, essentially. So no comms on the front line at this point in this game. Definitely a smart move because nobody wants to be sniped at this point. And it looks like Colossus will divert eastward to just go after the hordes of Lobos that are being built up here by Frodio. He wants to just spam, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Against Harbingers and Colossi, not so much. Not so much. AA only says Azuros. Colossus online for me as well. Looks like the Colossi are over here. I swear I saw a third one, though. Oh, there it is. It's over there. And a fourth one online. Dreamlazy builds another experimental. That is another Colossus. Both teams pumping out Colossus. And, of course, Crabs being donated to Dreamlazy. Looks like Thurnus Haley is just going to be the sugar daddy for Dreamlazy and just pump out a bunch of Crabs for him to use. That's not going to get clipped or anything at this point. Well, there it is. I said it. That's I can't take that back now. I could just do the recording again, but I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that. Not at this point. See those Colossus just roaming around the map. It looks like both players want to engage, but they don't want to force the issue because whoever attacks first will probably be at the disadvantage. Well, unless you have the crab, then you're not at the disadvantage. You have the advantage. One crab online for Team 2. And again, Team 1 does not have crabs. They only have chickens, monkeys, colossi, and fat boys. No fat boys coming online. Oh, no, there's one down here. Never mind. But another Colossus coming in to assist. 4 Colossus versus 3 and a crab will only favor Team 2. Tons of T3 support as well. That Colossus starting to take out all of the AA nearby. That Colossus. Tons of shields going to come online here for Team 1's air player, who's actually expanding out his AA efforts. Try to force back Team 2's air advantage, but I don't think it's going to work out here for Team 1's air player at all. And those Colossus are moving in, and it's not going to be good here for Team 1. We see more of them coming in to assist, but not all of them are here to attack, which means it's a huge advantage for this engagement for Team 2. And Knightley, ever so rightly, that's not good. Says Knightley, essentially with lack of a bad engage. Yeah, definitely a bad engage for Team 1. But there are some Colossus coming in to take out all of the supporting units first. Try to take out all the adds, and then you go after the boss. Another Colossus does fall. Another one coming in to assist. Percy's over here to the east as well. More Percy starting to collapse around these Colossus. And this is a lot of firepower coming down on these experimentals in this game at 32 minutes. One Colossus does fall, 2 of them in the yellow. New Colossus appearing all the time. Looks like the crab is actually being targeted first. Great engagement here from Furio. Gets in behind the crab, so the crab cannot target the Percys. Will have to turn around to fight them, which means there is time that those guns are not firing. Colossus is being double teamed by those 2 Colossi from Team 1. And it went from a bad engagement to a good engagement here. Obviously, Team 1 lost a lot of stuff too. But that is a ton of mass on the field here on Team 1's side of the map specifically. And we're looking... Really, I can't be that zoomed in. 177,000 mass on screen. We're going to essentially isolate it to the... Just this. I wish the Reclaim mod, essentially highlighted everything that's on screen. You have to zoom out at some point, but love me some Rise Control Ks. I don't know what that's from. Hold on a second. Hold on, I'm going to pause for a second. He says that's GG. Oh, we're talking about this. No, it's not GG entirely. Team 2 could just steamroll this position if they focus enough. But I do understand where Love Me Some Rice is kind of headed. He was kind of on the back end of things anyways. He didn't have a lot of mass in his generation just because he lost a bunch of stuff. But that does donate everything to Thurnus Haley, though, which will just supercharge his crab production. And it is now a 4v3 for the first time in the game in favor of Team 1. Tactical Missile has been started for Ferdio. Maybe we go for a Billy Nuke. He is the only UEF player on Team 1, and he's the only UEF comm in the game remaining. I should say not the only player, but the only comm remaining. And Crab is being destroyed. Looks at Colossus from Knightley. Comes, it's going to crash damage on top of that. Crab, take out some of the hit points, take out a couple of friendly units. But there are Percys coming in to engage. Gunships coming in as well to assist. That Crab might be fine. But again, Team 1 really focused on the reclaim. That's what they want. It looks like Colossus moving in again to secure this reclaim field. Team 2 needs to move forward, needs to take out something. which they are doing on the western side here for this monkey. Tons of damage here. Just T1 mechs and a couple of T2 remain. The monkey will die, but mass, a lot of it was killed off here by that monkey. So definitely a good investment. Probably would have had better luck had it had a little bit more support, but again, at the end of the day, not that bad. There is a lot of AA being built by Team 1, by a couple players at least. Actually, by all of them. Besides Frodio, he's focused more on land efforts. And that will really diminish Team 2's attack power in the air from coming in to Team 1's base. We have gunships trying to secure the reclaim field, but again, it's very difficult to do. There's already engineers online nearby for Team 1. Team 2 doesn't have anything nearby. We do see more engineers and some, actually no, those are Cougars, excuse me, and some parashields running around, trying to again force back the rest of those gunships. But we do have a nice frontal assault coming on the hands here for Fludio on the eastern side. Tons of Perseus, going to stop any sort of Team 1 spam production of those PD from Dreamer Lazy. Then of course, the way those come in, going to take all of these Perseus out. Wish I saw some Cougars in here, or flak, or something in this mix. And these units will all die here. At this point, you just full send them. I mean, it does look like there is some flak coming in to assist, but the time it will take for those units to catch up, you either fall back to assist, which is probably what they were doing, or you just full send it. It might be better to just retreat for a little bit. So that flak comes in. Look at that flak just rip apart all of those gunships. Gunships now targeting the flak, at least some of them, but look at this. Just ripping those hit points apart. I mean, there are a decent amount of hit points, and some of these gunships are veterancy'd up, but there is a crab coming in to assist, which means this attack is not really going to get anywhere, unfortunately. And it looks like it's a nice lull period here for the game. We can take stock of the match. Once again, Team 1, 2.2K, excuse me, mass income. It keeps shifting back and forth. Actually drops to 2K, so never mind, maybe that's reclaim related. Team 2 at 1.5. Oh, it's dropping even more. That was a ton of reclaim that Team 1 was scooping up at the same time, though. Obviously, a lot of it is right here. The unit's still trying to come in to disrupt this reclaim operation here for Team 1. And, again, I'm not willing to agree with Love Me Some Rice entirely that this is GG entirely. I mean, we won't see the effects of this for at least a couple of minutes. But it's a lot of mass to still scoop up, and there are everybody has a piece of it. Not one player. We have the air player, we have Knightley, we have Frodio, we even have some forces here for Mori. Looks like those are more defending forces, not necessarily engineers. But at least 3 of the 4 players on Team 1 getting a nice spreading out of the mass. We'll to again upgrade all the remaining T3 mechs they need to. Get some mass fabs online, get more experimentals online. Just Colossus for Team 1. We did see a fab point being produced. It is over here. I wish he would produce more of them. But he does have the Billy Nuke, which we could easily see him send to the front line. Team 2's defenses are starting to at least kind of atrophy at least a little bit. This is a huge vector that Team 1 could exploit. There's nothing over here, just a ton of that's a lot of engineers. Thurnis, what are you doing with all those engineers? Are you going to build a Scathus over there? Just make a crap ton of strats and do the snipe plan. I mean, it does work. There are a lot of strats, to be fair, already. He's sitting at 19 of them. He actually made that a text bubble. It's just like, hey, build the strats and call it a day. I mean, he can do that. The only issue is there's a lot of AA coming online for Bliss. Bliss sitting at 48. We see Mui sitting at some flak over here, but more importantly has more AA essentially concentrated over here. The only vector that Team 2 realistically has is going through Frodio's front line over here to the east and all the way south. But Knightley does have his own AA online, and those are kind of decently spread out as well. You'd have to essentially curb the edge of the map to really get anything done. And more AA is being built. Looks like Frodio does recognize the threat at least a little bit in that regard. And he's focused again more on the land side of things than anything else. But again, starting to look good here for Team 2's front line. The only concerted effort from Team 2 is Dreamer Lazy. Once this position starts to fall, this line of PD and line of just facilities in general falls, that's essentially might be the game. Nuke coming online, though, that might change the landscape here for Team 1 and Team 2 entirely. SMDs also being loaded as well to assist with protection. ASF fight does engage on top of some Chicken and Colossus. Looks like Team 1 might have this. There is some AA nearby, firing the occasional missile or direct fire AA. But it looks like Team 2 will retain air control, and it looks like it's air dominance. The Strat Bombers might have a way in, but Team 1 might know about it now. And they definitely know about it. They can see all those Strat Bombers running around the map. So, not great. They need to go stealth to really hide themselves from radar. There are Omnis online on Team 1 side of the map. Well, there's at least one back here. This one should be Omni, to be fair. There should be one over here as well. Looks like they're going after the Colossus, trying to force back the land incursion. Lots of flak just running on the map here for Mori. Explosion in the middle. That is a Billy Nuke. That is not a comm, and that is not a SACU dying. Nuke is half loaded so far. And Strat Bomber's just ripping apart those Colossus. Will be a little bit of a mass dump here for Team 1. Well, from Team 1 to Team 2. But again, that mass dump over here was far greater in the opposite direction than it will be over here. There is some flak trying to secure those Colossus, but again, not going to do a ton of work. And it looks like the Strats have actually fallen back. Have a lot of them, have Theranos lost some of his? He did. He has lost some of them. Looks like some of the ASF from Team 1 were able to strike at those Strat Bombers and making it just worth it enough. But going over a FAF right now here for Team... Oh, there. For Ferdy, I was going to say Team 1. But, I mean, drops the Fat Boy to 0 shields, but there is just so much flak coming online. It just does not matter. Team 2 can just not put up a fight. Honestly, it's not looking good for Team 2's air. Even though they have the advantage in air, Team 1 is essentially nullifying it. Not only making it essentially an even playing field, but making them have the advantage because they have the land advantage, at least partially. Colossus being spammed up. Team 2 has 4 crabs and 1 Colossus. There we go. I can speak correctly. 3 crabs in the west going after the chicken that actually did make a frontal assault. Looks like it was going after... Looks like Theranos was just mass producing crabs over here. Which at this point you might as well send them in. 2 of those 3 Colossi, die. Team 2 has a nice mass field to grab. There's another Colossus down here. And just a lot of red on this side of the map here. Grim Lazy trying to do as much as he can, spread out as far as he can, but there's little pockets that Team 1 can exploit around these plateaus here. Those crabs making their way to the eastern edge of the map. That might be their vector for moving in, but again, there's a Fat Boy and 5 Colossi. It's a 1v1 fight here. In terms of the Colossus versus Crab, actually no, it's Colossus and Crab versus Colossus, so not necessarily 1v1, but close to it. Nuke outbound here for Team 2. Where is it going? At this point, send it here. Looks like it is going to be sent here. That land army is going to die. All those Colossus go, nope. Just send it. See Billy Nuke outbound. Will Furio die? Will he get out of range of the nuke? If he doesn't move more south, he is going to die here. That nuke is over top. It might be enough to clip Furio's commander. And it will be kaboom! Why are you there? Zeros is like, wait, why are you there? Billy says, it is now a tied game. 3v3 artillery landing on Team 2 side of the map from Ferdio. He was going for the Duke. Oh, man. Ferdio did a snog comm front line at 40 minutes. I mean, it is dangerous, again, to put your comm on the front line, but he was doing very well with it, to be fair. And that is the opening salvo, quite literally, for Team 2's experimentals to push in 5 crabs and a Colossus and a Fat Boy coming up against 5 Colossi who are just set up, just straight up retreating. And it looks like they're actually going to turn around and fight. It is Crab v. Crab, Fat Boy, Crab v. Colossus and Fat Boy. Artie says for real over here, he has to be retasked once again because it was transferred control over. Nice piercing attack from the west here. While Team 1 is distracted with everything going on over here, they send a nice column, but unfortunately, once PDs start being built, it's not really going to be as effective. These units need to go after critical systems, go after a comm, go after the air grid, but that's not really going to happen anytime soon. And more Colossi being built in the east, but this is the main attack here in the east. Crabs are wounded. They are retreating. Colossus running around the map. Anyone feeling crabby today is essentially what's going on, and it's red, so it's not the. Anyway, there's a menstrual joke in there somewhere. Some of you can, actually probably all of you can probably sort that out. Anyway, Crabs just really throwing plasma at Team 1's Colossi. 2 of them are dead. A couple of those crabs are severely wounded, though, and the Fat Boy is now in range. Probably not what that Fat Boy should have done. There it goes. This could be the push that Team 2 needs to come back in this game. Their air has been neutered. They have a nuke. They do have to face artillery. What is this? Oh, that's going to be fun. Got to watch out for that. Looks like the artillery is trying to strike that SACU, but that's going to be fun to watch later on. 5 crabs walking to a bar, push 2 of the Colossus out. There's a lot of just spam facilities everywhere for both of these teams. And again, everything's kind of the entire western side's just ignored. It's there, it just doesn't really exist right now. Incredible. Captain says Dreamer Lazy. Looks like that's the target that he's going after. Team 2 pushing forward, trying to strike at Team 1's frontline infrastructure. Again, there's just a lot of hit points to chew through. All of the units, just again, trying to take out every single facility, just try to make their way forward. It's definitely a slog fest when you go through that sort of defensive line, just because all of your Colossus, all of your crabs, everything are focused on literally everything else. Shots miss once in a while. That's shots that don't go into SMDs, that don't go into Percy's or anything of that. They're just essentially distractions. SMD does fall, so that is good here for Team 2. This SMD is loaded, but that will die here pretty shortly. Fat Boy going after its own crab. That's probably not the best idea. Fat Boy should push forward. Colossus have regrouped. 2 more have appeared. And the crabs almost about to rip Team 1 out of the entire eastern edge of the map. At the same time, Team 1 forcing those units back outbound from Team 2. But again, not really a whole lot of effort being thrown in either direction in that corner of the map. A little bit more in Team 1's direction, but not by much. And it looks like the Crab and Colossus fight will occur once again. And it's looking like it might be in favor of Team 1. These Crabs over here are not going to be able to engage. And there's another Colossus and another Colossus and another Colossus and another, and a lot more Colossi just running around the map here for Team 1. And again, like I said, now the Crabs are coming in, but it's not going to matter. This Colossus dies. A little bit of distraction for the Crabs. This Colossus dies, but there's 1, 3, 4, 5 over there. 3 Crabs coming in from the west. Team 2 really putting the pressure on Team 1. And I really want to go check on what that SACU is doing, so give me 1 second as I split. Let's put this over here to see what's going on. Again, it is going to favor Team 1 ever so slightly. And that TAC missile base looks like it's online. It hasn't been firing it. Looks like it's building up the missiles. The air grid is down for Team 2's airplay of Hayden. And those Colossus are still being ripped apart. But again, the mass is on Team 1's side of the map. They don't care how many units they lose. They just care that the units die on their side of the map. And there goes the missiles outbound for Dreamer Lazy. Dreamer Lazy gets the pings to move. You're ever going to shoot those TMLs, Ferdio, and there they go. And a second attack does look like Hayden does move at the last second, dodges those missiles. And there it is. It's now a 3v2 in favor of Team 1. And, of course, transfer of control of units from Dreamer Lazy, because he was killed off, go to Thurnis. It takes a second for them, of course, to retarget units, giving Team 1 the advantage, but it doesn't matter. Most of those Crabs are dead, and with that reclaim field, I don't think it's going to matter. Team 1 has the win, or at least close to the win. Artillery taking out the nuke. They've taken out a couple of SACUs, building more Crabs, going after whatever damage they can. SACU going to be just loading as many missiles as he can. Not really much more he can do, but he's going to try to do as much as he can. Great play outbound from Captain Bliss, going after vital structures. It does help specifically that the air grid was already down, so essentially there wasn't a lot of vision over here anyways. Then it opened up the door for that SACU to move in. And of course the radar jamming facility definitely assisted with that as well. But will he make it out of there? I think he will. Again, regenning. Not a whole lot, but a decent amount. He's going to be able to teleport out of Dodge. make something cool with this, says Azuros. I mean, at this point, 46 minutes in the game, Team 2 might just recall at this point. There are more crabs engaging, but again, every time Team 2 tries to move in, Team 1 has defenses, and it's just dumping mass on Team 1's doorstep. Team 2 needs at least a 2-to-1, if not a 3-to-1 advantage to really make it worth it. There's even some Rambo presets coming to assist as well. It's just not going well for Team 2's frontal assault. They got decently far in. They took a lot of stuff out. But in terms of how much mass is on the field on this side of the map, 376,000 mass. That is a lot. That is anything in the game and then some. And that number is only increasing here for Team 1. There goes another crab. And again, the crabs are starting to whittle down the Colossus, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Again, you need at least a 2-to-1, if not a 3-to-1 advantage, especially in this case, where they still have to chew through Nightly's base, and at least Fertio's old base, and Nightly's base, and the air grid, and Moe's facilities over here. That is a ton of stuff to chew through. Team 2 has been able to take out, Team 1 has been able to take out Team 2's main air grids. They've chewed through some of it already. I feel like with all of this mass, they could have funneled it into literally anything else. Maybe there was a gentleman's agreement to not go for game enders, but I don't see anything of that sort being built by Team 2 or Team 1. SACU is blowing up over there, I would assume. And just more mass fabs, more mass fabs, chickens as well. Colossus as well. Colossi as well. Artillery is being pinged. Team 1 has one artillery, that's it. That's all they've had. Team 2 built a nuke, and that's it. So not really a lot of the bigger toys, but a lot of the moving toys, that being the crabs, the Colossus, all those sorts of things. 0 units here, says Zebranog. Don't know what he's talking about. 0 units? Captain Bliss built his chicken. And those crabs still making a play. More experimentals being built all the time. In the northwest, attacks are outbound. 2 Fat Boys, a lot of AA, 2 Colossus, and another Fat Boy coming to assist. And these crabs still trying to make their way forward. This Colossus will stop at least 2 of them with some assistance from nearby forces. But again, like I said, it doesn't matter. The Percy's now behind the crabs. Free damage going down here for Team 1. This Colossus is only distracted. Another Colossus appears. Ravagers have been spammed up as well. This Colossus, Colossus gets the kill. Crabs are still here. The Ravagers, again, open up once again. That crab is not getting anywhere. There it goes. That is the last of the experimentals here on the eastern side of the map. And Team 2, Sternus Haley recalls, says, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going to deal with it. Team 1 wins the game. And like I said, at that point, they won. I mean, there was so much mass on the field. We were talking about overall in the game, 632,000. And of that 600,000, 400 of that was right here on screen. So 2/3 of the mass was in Team 1's doorstep, essentially, minus a couple of of course, the wrecks over here. But that's the game. I feel like Team 1's MVP might just go to... I mean, Captain Bliss was pretty solid, especially with the teleportation. SACU going after Hayden, and not Hayden, but Duruma Lazy. The artillery play made by Fertio might be definitely close as well, just because it took out the air grid. Everybody did a very good job of contributing to the overall game. You had Moe just pumping out experimental. Same thing with Nightly. We saw that great play, of course, from Mazuros taking on his opponent of IMEC War on You. You got a nice 1v1 for that. But I really don't know who's MVP. Let me know down in the comments who you would pick as MVP. Thank you so very much for watching. If you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I will see all of you in the next one.